Gold, as we're almost at all-time highs on gold again. And really, if you take a look at real inflation, John Williams is on. He says, well, when they say it's 4.25%, I look at inflation like it was done in 1980 before they put all the gimmicks in and didn't count in energy or food or, rents, equivalent housing, and all the, junk that makes it look better than what it really is. And he says, it's 11, 12% now. And inflation is really, if you were looking at 1980, not, is that's what it is now. It's not 4% is what their CPI, 4.25 or whatever. So, I mean, we have much higher inflation right now. Hasn't the my question is, hasn't the inflation genie all out of the body and it's up there doing this, going, hi, I'm the inflation. I mean, isn't it already out?
It is out. And you know what that also means? See, if the rate of inflation is already 10 or 11%, that means that we're in a recession. Because, that means that the GDP numbers that were being spoon-fed from the government, they say, oh, the economy is growing 7, 8% a year. Well, that's because they're assuming inflation is less than 2%, because the numbers are adjusted for inflation. But if you have to deflate the GDP for the actual rate of inflation, well, then we're in recession. And that makes sense. We are in recession because look how many people aren't working. The only difference is everybody's got a lot of money to spend, even though they don't have a job, because we keep printing it. So this is all inflation creating the illusion of economic growth. But if you properly measure inflation, that reveals the reality of recession, which is what the economy is in. And the only reason we're surviving is because the rest of the world is providing us with all the goods that we don't produce. We have these record high merchandise trade deficits. We get another number coming out on Friday, which will probably break the record that was set during the prior month. But this is a completely dysfunctional economy that is going to collapse when the bottom drops out of the dollar. And I think that crisis is close at hand.
What about all the 16 million people on some kind of federal dole? They can't get people to drive nails. They can't get people to process chickens. They can't get people to come in. They're like, I need to go to the mailbox to get my check. Is that going to stop? Or what's your view? I know you're an economist. You manage all this money. I mean, how do you manage money around that?
Well, I don't think it's going to stop. I mean, why would people want to work when the government gives them a better alternative? I mean, people in general don't want to work. I mean, there are some people that really enjoy their jobs and they have a stimulating career. But the vast majority of people who work would rather not be there. But, they need to eat. They need to pay the rent. And so they go to work, right? People look forward to the weekend because they'd rather have some time off, right? It's thank God it's Friday, right? It's not thank God it's Monday. Nobody is excited for a Monday, right? So now the government is like, hey, every day is Friday. Every day is Saturday. Stay home. We're going to give you a check. In fact, we'll actually give you more money to stay at home and to enjoy leisure than what you would have earned if you had to, actually commute back and forth every day to a job you don't even like. So it's no wonder that a lot of people aren't going to work. And, as the economy gets weaker and weaker, more and more people are going to have that opportunity because the government is never going to acknowledge that it's the cause of the problem, and it's not going to deny the voters something for nothing. So they're going to keep on printing money, and, inflation is going to run out of control. And the only reason that gold, you're mentioning gold, the reason it hasn't taken off yet, and don't press your luck, right? Everybody should be all in with their gold and silver allocation. Whatever that allocation is going to be, you should be all in because you're not going to get the opportunity to buy much cheaper. But what is going to happen is one day the price is just going to explode. And I don't know when that day is. Is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it next month? I don't know. But the price is going to go way up. Not just the price of gold and silver, but the premiums to actually get it. And how long you're going to have to wait to get delivery. All that stuff. So better to buy the stuff now, buy your gold and silver, get invested in these mining stocks. Because what happened is, as we've got this big increase in consumer prices, and this is just getting started, right? It's not transitory at all. Inflation in 2022 is going to be even worse than 2021. As bad as 2021 is going to be, 2022 is going to be even worse, followed by 2023, which will probably be even worse than that. But as all the people who did not expect to see this, right? They're totally surprised by the numbers they're seeing on consumer prices. The reason that gold is not rising, and this is frustrating a lot of people who, hey, why isn't gold going up? I mean, look at what's happening. The reason that gold and silver haven't already reacted in such a big way to this, obvious spike in prices is because everybody who did not expect this to happen, and that is most of the people on Wall Street, they also believe the Fed when the Fed says it's transitory. And they also believe the Fed is going to be raising interest rates and reducing its asset purchases, tapering this QE that it's doing. And so it's the expectation of this tighter monetary policy and the belief that this inflation is only transitory and not permanent. That is what is keeping people from buying gold. In fact, the expectations of a tighter monetary policy around the corner is acting to suppress gold because traders are factoring that future tightening in to the present market. But what is going to happen very soon is the people who are betting on higher interest rates because they think the Fed is going to fight inflation are going to realize that the Fed is not going to fight. The Fed is going to surrender without a fight, that inflation is going to win, and it's actually going to be much higher in the future than it is now. The price of gold is just going to go ballistic. People are going to have to quickly buy back the gold that they might have sold or buy gold that they never owned, and you're not going to have the sellers in the market, and you're just going to see the market go straight up.
I want to get to Bitcoin. I know you're not a fan of Bitcoin, but I've been following it because I've been telling people, listen, you better know what you're doing because you can get monkey hammered. I mean, Bitcoin was at 60 and then it went down to 31 and then it's back up to 39. But the thing that gets me is big money. I mean, you got BlackRock. We like Bitcoin, but they didn't like it at 19,000 or 10,000. They liked it at 35. Yeah, New York Mellon Bank, the 41 trillion under management. We like it at 35 too. You got you have with what's his name, Elon Musk. He liked it at 35,000 too. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. And now Ray Dalio. Oh, I like Ethereum and Bitcoin. And every currency has its day. I mean, aren't these people worried about the dollar? This isn't just a greed trade. Isn't this as much of a fear trade about what's going to happen to the dollar in the treasury market?
Look, I think that there's a very good chance that the Bitcoin bubble has peaked.